Okay, this is video 2 because it's been a second since the last video, and I put together a proposal. Okay, so if you haven't seen the last video, or the previous videos that led up to it, here's the idea. I want to do influencer interviews with the Gear 360 camera. So the Gear 360 is this little sphere that makes doing VR video super easy. It's the first time in history that doing VR video has been this easy. You press a button, it records 360 video. It's easy to stitch and put it together and upload it to YouTube. So it's finally that easy. And just like with drones, like once it gets easy enough that it's interesting, I'm all on board for getting into the industry, and I want to find a way for people to pay me to experiment with the new technology. So with drones, I went the hard route and talked to like a million uh, real estate agents and tried to get them to hire me to do video work. It was not a great approach, and I'm not about to do that again. What I'm doing with Samsung, or with the Gear 360 with VR, which is, first of all, amazing technology that I could rant about for hours. But my approach now for this new technology that I want to get into is talking to big companies that I know will pay me well and giving them an incentive that they're interested in with an interview project. Now, my weakness there is that I don't have a huge platform right now. There aren't a lot of people who follow me, etc., and so on. Like it's just how it is, and that's fine. But I happen to be very gutsy and really good at getting in touch with people, and I've done a couple interviews with people like DJ Khaled and Aaron Schrody, who's running for Congress. And it's not a ton of experience, but at least it proves that I can make things happen if I need to make things happen. So I'm using that as leverage to pitch Samsung. I met Robert Scoble at South by Southwest. He used to be a super popular blogger, and now he's still a super popular blogger, but super popular bloggers don't matter as much anymore. So people that I talk to usually don't know who he is, but anyone who's over 30 knows who he is because he's Robert Scoble, like good lord. Anyway, so I met him at South by Southwest. That one video, remember, where I was like out partying late at night? He was in the background while we were walking and talking about making videos. It was like 4 a.m. And so obviously this didn't happen while we were out partying. The next day I talked to him and I would like high-fived him and said it was an awesome night, because it was. And then pitched this idea to him because I had just interviewed DJ Khaled the day before, and like my mind was like running like crazy. I just got the email notification right here that Paul just emailed me back and says he's running the idea by marketing. So that's cool. Let's see. So anyway, I talked to Robert about this, like, hey, I'd like to do 360 interviews with influencers like DJ Khaled, but like do it with a 360 camera so you can just set someone down at the table next to you and it feels like you're there with the people who are interviewing and the interviewee, and it's just cool, right? VR lets you be somewhere you're not, and I think that's the real leverage point for that tech, is if you can make it feel like the people in the video are there, like then it's really important and powerful. So anyway, Robert was like, yeah, I'll try to find whoever, like I can introduce you to this person. And I think she was probably talking about Kim. Now I know. It took us a long time to find her name. I followed up with him every week for 2 months. And he finally dug up one name. I mean, I checked with him beforehand. Like, if I follow up with you a lot, is it going to annoy you to death? Or, like, do you just need that? And he was like, no, just, like, check in regularly because I'm busy as hell. I was like, okay, can do that. So every week for 2 months, I kept checking in with him and finally found one person who works for Samsung, who was here at Samsung, the developer conference that happened when I rolled into town. Just happened by coincidence to be here. I didn't meet him, but I did email him while he was here, and he was like, yes, my teammate Paul is here in town. So I emailed Paul, and I was like, we should sit down and have coffee and figure out how to move forward with this. And then Paul missed my email and didn't get back to me until he'd left town, and he's back in LA. But so anyway, I finally had a call with Paul today, which was in the previous video. He was like, we should talk to marketing about this because it's not really my domain. I work with companies and you know, distribution, but not marketing side. So he connected me to marketing, and it might actually go somewhere. And then I messaged Scoble back, because you can just message him on Facebook. That's a thing. And Robert Scoble was like, Oh, I asked him if he wanted to be one of the first people I interview for the interview series, since he was so kind to help me set all this up. And he said, yeah. And then I was able to forward to the Samsung people that he said, yeah, and that I already have someone on board for this interview series who has hundreds of thousands of followers. And holy goodness, it might actually come together. It might actually happen. It might actually. There's this post that's been going around LinkedIn about a father and his son trying to get his son married. I'll find it and read it to you. Hold on. Also, the fact that I just said has been going around LinkedIn. Like, what? Nothing goes around LinkedIn. Nobody even logs into LinkedIn. That's crazy. Okay, so here's the post. It's a thing called What is Business? And it says that there's a dad that says to his son, I want you to marry the girl of my choice. And the son says, no. And the dad says, but the girl is Bill Gates' daughter. And the son says, okay. And the dad goes to Bill Gates. He says, I want your daughter to marry my son. Bill Gates obviously says no. He says, my son is the CEO of World Bank. And Bill Gates says, then okay. Which is ridiculous. But anyway, keep listening. Then dad goes to the president of World Bank and he says, appoint my son as the CEO of your bank. The president says, no. And he says, but my son is the son-in-law of Bill Gates. And the president says, okay. That's business, this post says. And honestly, like, I feel like that's exactly what I just did. It's just like finding a bunch of people who need to be in touch with each other and then connecting them so that cool things happen. Yeah. Also, if this goes really well and like I get to interview Tim Ferriss, I put people I want to interview, Chris Sacca, Tim Ferriss, and Anna Kendrick as the first 4 people that I want to reach out to and interview in addition to Robert Scoble. So for those of you who know me, it should be fun. If I get to meet Tim Ferriss, though, I really want to introduce him to Tim Urban, who writes for Wait But Why, because 1, he needs to interview Tim Urban about how on earth he writes those posts. And then 2, Tim Urban knows Elon Musk, and Tim and Elon Musk have not done an interview yet, and that's just outrageous. Like, why hasn't Tim Urban or Tim Ferriss interviewed Elon Musk? I don't know, but I'm going to make that happen. I'm on a mission to make that happen, and this is just a small part of that mission. God, this is fun. Anyway, thank you for listening to me ramble. I really hope this all works out. What a plan, right? Very, very sneaky. Why am I putting this on the internet? I hope it doesn't ruin the plan. Hello, people from Samsung, and possibly people that I interview in the future. Stop watching this. Thanks for watching. Bye.